Hey y'all, it's Nia Brene, and y'all are tuned back in once again to Nia Brene World. I got the new Senegalese twist. Cute, period. So today I'm about to be giving y'all the story time about how my manager is
fucking racist.
like, I'm about to just be blunt, say it. Like, I'm gonna just say it. So for the purposes of this video, I'm gonna keep everything like anonymous. I'm not gonna say no names, or I'm not gonna say the name of the company or nothing like that, because I don't got time for nobody coming out talking about I tried to destroy their reputation, publicly bash them, no shit like that. I don't got time for none of that, even though they deserve it. And also, this is in honor of me quitting my job. Yes, yesterday I quit my job. My job was like such a toxic environment, and I'm happy that I got up out of there. Like, I miss a lot of my coworkers, but honestly, it was time to go. Basically, this happened, I want to say, June 12th. So basically, my mom has a friend that lives in Atlanta that makes masks, and we wanted to support the business. You know, COVID's been going on and everything, everybody needs a mask. So I went ahead and I got a George Floyd mask. Let me tell y'all, like, my mask was so pretty. I was so excited to wear it. Like, the mask was beautiful, and I'm gonna insert a picture of it. But when I insert this picture, play close attention, because this is like a big part of the story. Okay, you saw it? Okay, cool. Okay, so basically, if you've never like worked at my job, it's kind of hard to describe the environment, but it's like a really like uppity, strict place. Everything has to be perfect or they go crazy. Now, mind you, I don't know if I said it already, but I work in a shoe store. It's a shoe store, and it's not a high-end shoe store. It's just a shoe store. At this job, like, I kid you not, we can't even talk to our coworkers. Like, if you talk to your coworkers, write up. Like, if you do this, write up. If you do that, write up. You breathe wrong one time, write up. So it's just like, the job is crazy, and to be dealing with the stuff that we were dealing with, like, people, they not even paying us enough to deal with this stuff. Girl, like, it was just a very toxic work environment. Everybody's head was always like up their ass. Like, it wasn't a good place to work. The managers at this company, they have been working there for like 20, 30, 40 years. These people have been working in this shoe store for like 20, 30 years. So they take this job like very, very, very serious. It is crazy to me. These people eat, sleep, live, breathe this store. Like, this store is their life. So I knew how she was. Like, I knew that she was always on some BS. So I was just like, okay, like, I'm gonna wear my mask today. I honestly think she's gonna say something about me, but you know, if she does, I'm still gonna wear my mask to work today. Like, I'm going to work, I'm wearing my mask. If she says something, she says something. And I had a feeling she was going to. Like I said, knowing how she was, I had a feeling she would say something. So I came into work. I didn't see her, though. This is like the lead manager, like the boss, like everybody's boss. And it's like people like the coworkers, like everybody dreads working with Carrie. So I came to another manager that was like a lower manager than her. She just so happened to be like the person that was around me at this time. And the lead manager, we're going to call her Carrie. So I asked the manager that was beneath Carrie, I said, you know, like, I have on my George Floyd mask today, as you can see. Like, do you think Carrie will say something about this? And she's like, no, you know, I don't think she'll say nothing about it. You know, it's your thing. If it was me, I wouldn't say anything, because it's none of my business. It's your mask, is what you want to do. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, you know. And she knows Carrie pretty good. So I'm thinking, like, you know, like, if she says that Carrie probably won't care, then Carrie probably won't care, because her and Carrie are friends, and she knows Carrie more than I do. So I go out onto the floor, because I was in the back, like, putting my stuff up when this took place. So I go out onto the sales floor, and, you know, I'm always like main cashier, because I'm good at what I do. So I go out, I'm main cashier, and Carrie, she's basically comes up to me and she's like, oh, hey Nia, hey girl, you know, because she always gets in your face, act like she likes you so much. She's like, hey Nia, hey girl, you know, I need you to do this and do that. You're gonna be main cashier, so for the rest of the night you're gonna be ringing out customers. When you're not ringing out customers, I want you to do this and that and this and that and keep up with this and all of that. And so I'm like, okay, cool, you know, whatever. And then she looks at me and she's like,
Oh, and by the way, you can't wear that mask.
And so I'm just like, what? And so she basically just jumps over like she didn't say that and starts talking about the stuff she was telling me to do again. Like she's like, by the way, you can't wear that mask, but yeah, I need you to put these socks up and do this and do that and do that. So she jumps over it like she didn't even say that. So I just missed like everything she said. I'm like, wait, what did you say about my mask? Like, huh? And she's like, you can't wear that mask, you know, you can't be wearing that. And so I tell her, I'm like, I'm uncomfortable with the fact that you're asking me to take my mask off. Like, I don't want to take my mask off. You're making me uncomfortable right now. I told her that straight up to her face. And she's like, she tried to make it seem like she didn't know why. She's like, oh, okay, well, if it's making you uncomfortable, then I have another mask you can wear. You know, I have other masks. And so I tell Carrie, I'm like, I don't want to wear your mask. I'm going to wear my mask because I don't know where your mask has been. And so she's like, okay, well, you can either wear the mask that I'm giving you or you won't have one at all because you can't wear that. It's company policy. And I told Lawrence that he can't wear his mask. So if I tell Lawrence that, then I have to tell you the same thing. And so I'm just like, okay, whatever. Because me personally, I'm not the type of person that's going to get mad at somebody for doing their job. Like if it truly is company policy and it's out of her reach, then I'm not going to knock her on that because she's just doing her job. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I'll just take the fucking mask off because I'm not about to wear her mask. I don't know where her mask has been. So if she's not going to let me wear my mask, then I'm not wearing one at all. So I just take the mask off because, mind you, at the time, the state that I was working in, masks were not a requirement. So I was not required to wear a mask. So I just took it off. And so Carrie, she's like, okay, I'm going to contact the regional manager and I'm going to ask him about this. She gets on the headset and she says that. And mind you, the headset is like connected to everybody who works in the store hears what's going on in the headset. So I'm just like, she's making this like a big scene in front of everybody now. So at this point, everybody's asking me like, what's going on? You know, like, why is she emailing the regional manager about your mask, all this other stuff? And I'm just like, I don't fucking know because the lady asked me to take my mask off. She told me, she said, you know, take your mask off. I took it off. I didn't make a problem. I wasn't defiant. I did what she asked me to do. She asked me to take my mask off. I took it off. At this point, it's like, why are you still bothering me about this? So she gets on the headset and she's like, Nia, can you please come to the back office and talk to me? And at this point, I'm doing my job. I'm ringing out customers. I'm like, why is this lady still bothering me? Like, why is she still interrupting me? So I come to the back and I'm like, yes, like, what's going on? And she's like, so if I gave you a mask, why don't you have one on? And so I tell her, I'm like, because I told you I don't want to wear your mask. Like, how many times do you want me to tell you? I told you that I didn't want to wear your mask, so I don't. That's why I don't have one on. I don't have one on because you told me to take mine off. What don't you get? So she's just like, well, now y'all, this is where the story gets messed up. This is what Carrie fucked up. This is what Carrie had me messed up. So Carrie, she's like, well, your mask says I can't breathe and I just don't want you wearing something you can't breathe in. So at this point, I'm just in like shock. Like I'm in disbelief. Like, Carrie. So I tell her, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you know good and well, I told her this to her face. I said, you know good and well that's not what my mask is saying. You know good and well my mask is not saying that I literally cannot breathe. And so she's like, well, your mask says that you can't breathe and I just don't want you wearing something that you can't breathe in, and I don't want you to pass out on the register in front of all of the customers since you can't breathe, so I gave you something a little more breathable. So I'm just like, you know that's not what my mask means. And so she's like, I don't know anything. I don't know what that mask means. You know, I'm so oblivious to the world today. I don't know anything. This is what Carrie's saying. And so, mind you, this was like during the George Floyd situation. Like the George Floyd situation, like it's still big now, but y'all know how big it was back then. Like, stuff was getting looted, rioting was going on. My job had got shut down due to looting. So I knew good and well Carrie knew exactly who George Floyd was and exactly what that mask meant. So at this point, I felt like she was insulting my intelligence and she was making a joke out of me at this point, and she was just laughing in my face about it, and I didn't appreciate it at all. So I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, at this point, I'm just looking at her like, what are you talking about? Like, you know exactly what my mask means. And she's like, I don't know, you can tell me. So I tell her, I'm like, it's a George Floyd mask. Like, did you really need me to tell you that? It's a George Floyd mask. And so she's like, oh my god, I had no idea. It's a George Floyd mask. Oh my god, I would have never known. Now I want y'all to take a look at this mask one more time, good and clear. You can obviously tell this is a George Floyd mask. Right. Everybody could. Anybody could see it was a George Floyd mask. It's just like, what are you not understanding about this? So after that, I'm just like, okay, like, I've had it with Carrie. Like, I just walk off and I finish working for the rest of the night, and Carrie, she just keeps talking to me about it. Like, I just feel so stupid every time I look at you. And honestly, I feel as if this is what happened. I feel as if when she went to the back and she emailed that regional manager, because as y'all know, like, Black Lives Matter movement right now is like going crazy. Like, we're going up right now. Like, we're doing it. We're out here right now. And she knows that, like, the Black Lives Matter movement, we're not playing right now. So I feel like she knew in her mind that she fucked up and she needed to go email that regional manager. And when she went and she emailed that regional manager, I believe that he told her that she needed to cover for herself, and her way of covering for herself was acting like she didn't know what the hell the mask meant, knowing good and well that she did. So for the rest of the night, Carrie, she's getting all in my face, and she's like, I just feel so stupid every time I look at you because I had no idea. And then Carrie, she made it her business to have a conversation with me about how she voted for Obama and she has black family and all of this and all of that. Now, don't y'all hate that when a white person feels the need to tell you about all their black family and their black cousins and a sister that's married to a black man and all this other stuff? Like, you really give a fuck? Like, that makes you any less racist because you have white family? I don't care about that. So I'm just looking at her like, okay, like, this lady's best bet is to stop talking to me. So fast forward 2 weeks, I'm still working, I'm still doing my job because I'm not about to let Carrie affect the coins. Fast forward about 2 days later, I have the mask flipped inside out because Carrie told me that it was against company policies to have masks with words, designs on them, whatever. But the thing is, I had coworkers that came to work with bandanas on their faces. I could say that's gang affiliation right there. You coming up in here with a bandana on your face. Why is that not a problem? It's people that come in with all types of writing designs, but the second I have a writing or design, it's against company policy. So my mask was turned inside out, and Lawrence, remember I told y'all that she told me that she made Lawrence take his mask off because it had writing and designs. So Lawrence came to me and he was like, Nia, what you got on your mask that your mask got to be inside out? Why's your mask inside out? And I told him, I said, because my mask is a George Floyd mask and Carrie told me that it can't have writing on it. So he's like, man, Carrie be doing too much. She be doing too much. I'm like, yeah, honestly, like, I feel like that was kind of racist. And so he's like, yeah, man, you ain't know Carrie's racist. That's how Carrie is. That's how she is. And so I'm like, oh, for real? I guess everybody just knew about it and I didn't. And so I'm like, you know, Lawrence, it's kind of funny because the reason that Carrie told me that I had to take my mask off was because she had to be fair because she made you take yours off. So Lawrence, he like,
man, she fucking lying. She lying. She ain't never let me take my mask off. She lying. She lying. She's trying to cover for herself. She lying to you.
So I'm like, oh, for real? Okay, because last time I checked, Carrie told me that she had no idea that it was a George Floyd mask. She had no idea. So if you had no idea, why did you lie and say that you made Lawrence take his off when you never did? Red flag number one. So following that, so fast forward 2 weeks, Carrie, well, not Carrie, and we have another manager named Nikki. Now, we have another manager. I'm gonna call her Nikki. So we have a work group chat. We have like this thing where everybody comes together in the group, and it's basically so everybody's on the same page, you know, communication through the job. So Nikki comes in the group chat, and Nikki says, she sends a picture of this policy, And the policy, it was dated. It had the present date on it. And so Nikki, she says, this is a new policy. Masks cannot have any prints or words on them. And so me at this point, like, because I have friends that I work with that I talk to about these things. This was like in the morning and I was still asleep. So my phone was like blowing up. My friends were texting me. They're like, Nia, did you see like what was just said in the group? Did you see what was said? Like, this is obviously directed towards you. This is directed towards you. And so I'm like, all right, bro, whatever. Because y'all not finna keep picking on me about this situation. Like, y'all not finna keep coming for me about one little situation. So everybody get out the way and I'm finna set it off today. Like, I'm finna talk my shit. Like, I'm tired of biting my tongue. So I come in the group in front of everybody because everybody always acts like they're so scared of Carrie, because since Carrie been working there for all these years, everybody just acts like Carrie is so high and mighty, worship down to Carrie, all this other stuff. So I'm like, no, like, I'm not finna Carrie not finna try this with me. Like, I'm finna say what I gotta say to Carrie. So I come in the group in front of everybody and I'm like, I had to put her on blast in front of everybody. I said, if this is a new policy, then why did you ask me to take my George Floyd mask off 2 weeks ago? She messages me privately. She didn't respond in the group because she knew I had just busted her little fucking bubble in front of everybody and she didn't want to get cut up on in front of everybody. So she messages me privately and she's like, you know, I would never want you to think that I would direct you to do something and not call out for the same to everyone else and all this other bullshit. I'm like, no, I don't. I do think that, because that's exactly what you did. That's exactly what you did. And she's like, you know, everyone at the store loves you. Everyone loves you. And I'm like, no, I don't know that. I don't know everyone loves me. Because if you did, you would act like it. And like, it's like you basically trying to be on my ass and get on my good side because you know that you fucked up. So she's just like, the policy has been in effect. The policy has been in effect. I'm like, if the policy has been in effect, why does it have today's date on it? And why does it say new policy? This literally says new policy. Masks cannot have writing, symbols, whatever on them. When 2 weeks ago, you asked me to take my George Floyd mask off for that exact reason. So if it wasn't a policy then, why was I asked to take the mask off? And so she's just sending me these messages and she's like, she's blowing on my phone. Cause at this point, I'm not texting her back because she's full of shit. I'm not texting her back. And she's blowing on my phone like, Nia, are you there? Are you there? Is there anything I could do for you? And then this is where she like messed up again. She crossed the line right here. She says, I just want you to know that you must be mistaken and I have no idea your mask was about
The Floyd Man.
The Floyd Man? The Floyd Man? That's what you address him as? The Floyd Man? At that point, I knew she was full of it. I didn't even message the lady back. I took it a step further and I contacted HR about the situation. And still to this day, HR has not contacted me back about the situation. So this just goes to show me that this is a company that does not care about me or how I feel at all. And so, like I mentioned, everybody acts as if they're afraid of Carrie. Like, people act like they're afraid to go toe-to-toe with her and tell her how they feel. Everybody walks around all day complaining about Carrie and how Carrie does this and that and this and that and how Carrie acts like such a bitch and Carrie's always doing something, but nobody ever says anything to Carrie. And so I basically texted Carrie and I'm just like, yeah, you know, like, I'm not, because for 2 days after this, I didn't come to work. And I texted Carrie and I saw her, I said, you know what, I'm not coming to work today because I feel uncomfortable. And my job, like I was saying, you know, like, y'all know how I was saying that the job is so strict. They want everything perfect to a T. You slip up one time on something small, it's a huge deal. So I'm just like, because of the way that they make it, it's a very tedious job. And you have to like pay close attention to detail. And I knew, like, I was pissed off and I wasn't comfortable being there. So I knew if I was to come to work, I was gonna be mad all day. I wasn't gonna be on my P's and Q's. So the best thing was for me to stay at home. Like, I feel as though this lady has just discriminated against me. I specified that to her. I sent her a message. I said, you know what, I feel like you have discriminated against me. I'm very uncomfortable. I can't deal with this. I'm not coming to work today. And I didn't come to work again for a second day because I was still mad at Carrie. Mind you, I'm still legally considered a minor. So my mother, she called up to the store and one of my other managers that was working at the time, we're gonna call him Jason. So Jason answers the phone, and my mom to her is like, you know, this is Nia's mom. Nia's not gonna be coming to work today because she feels as if Carrie discriminated against her, and I'm her mother. I don't feel comfortable with her coming. And mind you, as a minor, like, my mom has control over me. Legally, she's my guardian. And my mom says I'm not going to work, then I'm not going to work. Like, my mother has more control over me than you do. So basically, my mom's like, you know, do y'all need her to come in and have a meeting, like, to talk about this? Like, what does she have to do to resolve this matter? She's reached out to HR. HR has not responded. Like, what do y'all need her to do? So Jason, he's like, you know, like, it really doesn't matter because we're not going to be able to keep doing this with her. We're not going to be able to keep doing this with Nia. Keep doing this with Nia. Nia's not going to be able to keep doing this with y'all. Like, stop acting like I'm the reason for all of this. I'm the one that messed up when it was y'all. And I also knew that this lady was a bit racist because me and I have another coworker. Me and him are the only two black people that have been there long term. Like, there's other black people, but they haven't been there as long as we have. We've been there long term, and we are the only long term people that have never been employed a month. Now, in the midst of this whole situation with her, she's like, you know, I love you. I love your work. You are always the main cashier because your cashier percents are the best. Because at my store like revolves around these, like, the email list. Like, you know how, like, you go to a store and the cashier asks you, like, can I get your email type stuff to sign you up for rewards? Like, my job basically, like, revolves around the rewards program. Like, the rewards program is like a big thing in my job. Like, if you're doing good with getting customers to sign up for the rewards program, they're doing good at the job. Now, I'm always number one for the rewards. I'm always number one. I'm always on the top. I'm always doing my job. I do everything I'm supposed to do. I've been here for over a year, and you telling me that I still haven't gotten an employee of the month yet? There's, like, Caucasian white girls, there's like white girls, Hispanic girls that come to my job, work there for literally 1 month, and they get employee of the month. But you telling me that I can't get it after working there for a whole year, and my other coworker who has been working there longer than me, he still hasn't got it yet? Come on now, y'all are racist. So I most definitely know that this company is racist, and I just didn't have time for it anymore. I kept working there for a little bit because I didn't want to let the lady mess with my coins, but after a while the job kept getting more and more toxic, more and more stressful, and I couldn't handle it no more. And I said, peace out, see y'all motherfuckers, and I quit. So moral of the story is, if you are in a situation where you are unhappy and you feel like that it's not what's best for you, don't be afraid to leave. Do what's best for you. Love yourself. And I hope you all enjoyed this story. Don't settle for no fuck shit. Words of Nia Renee. I'm out.